everyone, I'm Noelle and welcome to Homey Housewife Habits. Today I wanted to talk to you about something a little bit different and maybe not something that you'd think would be in the realm of Homey Housewife Habits. I wanted to talk to you about Strengthsfinder 2.0. This is a book by Tom Rath and it came out several years ago, and if you're involved in the business world, you've probably heard of this. It's very popular in business circles. A lot of people even put it on their resumes. A lot of companies have their employees take this, read the book and take the test, just to find out what your strengths are, particularly in line with business. But it's not just about business. I read this book a couple of years ago, and when you buy the book, you get a code, and you go online and you take an online profile, and it tells you what your top 5 strengths are. And then you get this little PDF book printout of your personalized report telling you exactly what your strengths are and what that might look like and all kinds of stuff like that. I took this test years ago when I was in the business world, and I always put it on my resume and all that stuff, but I've found that it really defines a lot of who I am, that it explains a lot about who the person inside of me is. And I think a lot of us, as we are maybe housewives, whether part-time or full-time, wives, moms, all this stuff, we lose ourselves. We kind of lose who the core of us are when we're doing all of these other things. And if you're cooking, and you're cleaning, and you're changing diapers, and you're doing all this stuff, sometimes you forget that you are a unique individual with unique interests and strengths. And I think that even if you're not in the business world, even if you're a stay-at-home mom, it can be really helpful to take this test and to read this book and find out exactly what some of your passions and your strengths are, and how that can look for your family, and how it can look for things like volunteer work or a potential job opportunity. So for instance, I want to share a little about my strengths. My first strength is input. And inputs are people who have a craving to know more. They want to collect information. We're always researching and reading and just input. We need information all the time. I want ideas. I want intellectual conversations. And if you think of this in terms of a housewife who, I'm going to have young children soon, this is kind of the strength that would get easily lost. Intellectual conversations don't happen with newborns or 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds. Intellectual conversations when you're sitting at home all by yourself with the cat don't exist. So remembering that I am an input helps me remember and carve out time to read, to do some research on the internet, to watch a webinar, to watch a documentary, to make sure that I am feeding my soul with new information, to look at a magazine, to even if it's just 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, I need to protect that strength and give myself new information. My second strength is empathy, and this is just one that just kind of is who I am. I'm empathetic and very, intuitive to people, and this is something that works in great with being a wife and a mom. But it's also important to remember that if you do have a skill like empathy, you're a giver. You're constantly giving of yourself, and you have to remember to take some time for yourself and make sure that you are being fed and that you have some me time and somebody's giving back into you, and you're also protecting yourself. My third strength is intellection, and this is very similar to input. This is the need for knowledge. It's the need to have intellectual discussions, to get beyond chit chat and really read and deeply think about things. And this is another one that's like input. It's hard when you have little kids or not a big social life or not a business or a job around you. And so just like input, I need to make sure that I am reading, that I am getting out with my friends, or calling them on the phone, or Skyping, or IMing, or texting, or something, just to make sure that I have some contact with the outside world. My fourth strength is developer, and this is somebody who is great at mentoring, recognizing and cultivating potential in people. Again, this is a great one for raising a family, but it's also a great one for volunteering and helping other people and working with teenagers, working with young adults, all of that kind of stuff. And so for this, I need to make sure that I have some outlet in my life where I am a leader to other people other than my husband and my kids. The reason is that you can overdo it trying to polish up your family, and you need other people to pour into. And my aspect of this right now is that I am involved with Young Living Essential Oils, and I am a leader in the company, and I get to mentor people who are interested in the business, and I get to talk to other adults and teach classes, and all of that is awesome for the developer in me. And my fifth strength is discipline. This is no surprise to anybody who knows that I am a planner, an organizer, and a detailed scheduler. I like things clean, I like things presentable, I like to make everything a system and an order, and this can be hard when you have a family, especially a young family. And so I need to make sure that I am working on my home and I am working on my systems, but I'm also giving myself a break, because let's face it, nothing can be perfect all the time, and we can easily overwhelm ourselves. So this one is kind of the one where I get to be organized and do all that stuff, but I also can sit back and say, you know what, I need a break too. So those are my 5 strengths and kind of how I apply them to my housewife and working life. And I hope this was interesting to you. This was kind of a whim that I thought, you know what, I really feel like talking about that, because I think that it's important to remember our identity and who we are as people, not just in relation to our family. So if you're interested, this book is typically at like Barnes & Noble's, but it's definitely on Amazon, and I really recommend it. The book itself talks a lot about business situations, but I think it's worth it just to know your strengths and get this individualized report so that you can really find out who you are. And a lot of things made sense once I took this test. So that is my experience with the Strengthsfinder, and I thank you so much for watching. If you have taken the test, please let me know below what your top 5 strengths are. I would love to hear about them. I'm very fascinated by this personality stuff, so please share in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye. Before about the